Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel and welcome to Squash That Series Week 2. This week we are replaying the team's version of Squash That Series. So each week through this tournament round we are replaying a previous Squash That Series game in head-to-head matches. So I'm a little bummed that we got teams this early on because of the way this is formatted. All of your cheerleaders were becoming part of your team. So really we have two-person teams. One team has 3 people, but it could have been a little more fun to have at least a little bit larger teams, like even if this would have been next week, but it's fine because I am so blessed to have Martine from Just Martine be my cheerleader. So our team is me and Martine, and we are going head-to-head against Kayla and Gabby. We have chosen a team name. Our team name is the Bookly Besties because 1, we're besties, and 2, we will continue to time our rating. And I believe the team name that Kayla and Gabby chose was Pros Before Bros, and so that's our head-to-head competition this week. I will admit today is Friday, so these weeks run Wednesday through Tuesday, and I've been taking Wednesdays as my admin day and skipping that day of vlogging. But then yesterday, Thursday, I just was in a very grumpy mood, so I've been getting through my audiobooks, but I didn't want to start this vlog not in a happy mood. And then today I ended up getting a snow day from work. We got a big blizzard, but I was still able to get the girls to daycare, so I thought I was gonna have all day. And then I got a message from daycare that they were going to close early. So I was nervous that my plans were going to get kind of wrecked there. So I got a little bummed for a minute again. But Chris decided to come home. And so he just went to go get the girls and he's going to come home so that this afternoon I can do sprints. Still, I had sprints planned, so I was bummed that I may have to cancel those. So thank you so much to Chris for, you know, letting me do things like this. I would like to bring you up to date on what I've been reading, so let me pull up. I had purposely not been finishing books during qualifying and week 1 because those games did not require finishing to do well. So you were able to save those books and finish them this week and submit them for full points. So what I have finished, it felt so satisfying to finally finish books. I cannot express that enough. I finished, firstly, A Perilous Undertaking. I never say that word right. A Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Raybourn. I do think I'm going to DNF that series. I think when people talk about that series, they talk about really loving the characters and that like the plot and the mystery is maybe not like the strongest suit of that. And I don't even particularly like the characters. I gave that book 2.5 stars. So I'm gonna say I'm done with that series, but you never know what I will be willing to pick up for prompts during Squash That Series. Not my favorite thing. Then I also finished The Jade Setter of Jan Loon, which is a novella in the Greenbone Saga series, and this particular novella followed a Jade Setter, a character we know from the main books of the trilogy. So it's kind of some background knowledge, and I really just love that series and that world so much. So I did really enjoy that one. I gave that one 4 stars. And then I also completed The Kept Woman by Karen Slaughter. We all know what I just said is that you never know what I'm going to be willing to read and continue for Squash That Series. I always say that I don't like this series anymore, and I keep reading them always during Squash That Series. This was the 8th, I believe, and I did like this one a little bit more than I've liked some of the previous ones. I gave this one 3 stars. I do think these hinge a lot on what the actual mystery of the individual book is, and there was some good like things and information we got about the characters that this overarching like mystery series follows, because we do follow the same characters throughout. So I feel like I have like grown and gotten to know these characters, and we got some like good new juicy information. So now what I'm still currently working on, physical books, what I just brought to work on during sprints. I have yet to finish any physical books because I'm working still through this chunky Royal Assassin. I'm a little bit further than what this bookmark looks like because I've been reading the ebook, so I'll move my bookmark and continue during sprints. And then I'm also still working on The Prince of Broadway. I'm really enjoying both of these things. Just my available time for eyeball reading has not been abundant. And so the other audiobooks that I still have on deck, I am currently listening to a novella in the Will Trent series, but it is like a novella that is a cross between two series. So it's 8.5 in the Will Trent series, but it's also like a crossover book with another series by another author, and it's just like a 2-hour audiobook that I'm honestly almost done with. I'm not really enjoying that one so far. It feels kind of misplaced. And then I have gotten to the end of Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun, and I haven't pulled the trigger on finishing that one yet. And I also approached the end of The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling, and I've still kept that. I'm not finishing because my hope is that this week I can still hold off on submitting and completing all these books that I'm close to the end to, because if our team can win and I can still have books on deck for next week, that's going to be best for me moving forward. So I'm keeping an eye on how this week is going. For now, we will be getting one more full points update, our matchup, so I'm gonna see where the points sit then, and then there's still 3 more days through the readathon, and I believe we get one more update through those 3 days about who is winning versus losing, just not full score. So I'm kind of just playing it by ear. I have a lot of options that I could use to get some decent points, especially if I get to the end of this and hold off. This would get me great points for teams, because a book this long would, since I'm the active player and I get twice, my submissions are worth twice as many points, so this being worth like plus 200 points would technically get me plus 400 points. I will include like the point system here, so you get positive points for each book and negative points for each book. The positive points are based on the length of the book, and the negative points are prompts. The negative points get taken from the other team, and again, the active player, which in this instance is me, their submissions are worth twice as many points, and our cheerleaders are worth straight points. Yeah, that's what's going on. This was a super long intro. I'm so sorry. I hope you enjoyed this week. I hope you're enjoying Squash It series, and I hope I won this week. We're about to find out. Hello, happy Sunday morning. I've been really bad at vlogging this week because I've been mostly hugely overstimulated just by my house and my family and things, so I haven't like wanted to come check in, but I have been reading. I'm getting a little nervous because we did get a points update last night, and Martine and I were still losing, and I personally thought that we would have caught up a little bit more than we had. We're not like super losing. I think the points difference was like 900 points, and so last night we quickly both like finished everything that we were still in the middle of and like submitted everything we had available, and then I stayed up way too late and read Forever Wild by K.A. Tucker. I did give that one 5 stars as well. This is a novella. It took me like a little over 2 hours to read. It's like 140 pages. I did give that one 5 stars. It was probably almost a 4.5, but I overall just really love that series so much. I want to live where they're at, and this one, this may be, I don't think it is. I was gonna say this may be slight spoilers, but this novella is kind of the preparation for Jonah and Kalla's wedding, and there is just an old grumpy man character in this series that I would die for. Like, I love him so much, so that put me to bed feeling happy. I did finish a couple other things today. Yesterday I did read another Magic Treehouse book, and I finished the audiobooks for The Kiss Curse and Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. The Kiss Curse and Finlay Donovan I both gave 2 stars. I'm just not really interested in either of those series anymore. Like, they're supposed to be, both of these, they're very not the same, but I kind of feel the same about both of them. I'm just like not interested in either of the series anymore. They're both supposed to be like kind of more like fun, you know, not very deep stories, and I just am not enjoying them. They're too surface level in my opinion at this point, and I don't feel invested in any of the characters or plot lines. Oh, I also, oh my gosh, how do I forget the one physical book I've actually read all month? I also finished The Prince of Broadway by Joanna Shoup, and I also gave that one 5 stars. What I hate is with historical romance, I know that by the end of the year I won't even really remember what this book was about, but there was a great like revenge, petty plotline in this that I had so much fun reading, and so not only did I like the romance, there was another aspect to the plot that I was really intrigued by. So I think that really worked well for me, and that makes me excited to read the third book in that series, because I didn't originally like the first book that much. What's that one called? The Rogue of Fifth Avenue, I think is what the first book is called. So I was very happy to actually end up enjoying this second book that much. But now my plans today. I have grabbed some things to start. I have grabbed my Heartstopper books. So you can't read first books in a series for this week of Squashette series. So I'm gonna read this and it's not gonna count, just so that I can read through these and count them. I did just recently acquire the fifth volume, so the rest of these will be a reread, and I'll be reading the fifth volume for the first time. So I'm hoping to get through these quickly today, and then my other plans today were to probably read a couple more Magic Tree Houses also. So I'm gonna get through some just like under 1 hour stuff today, which those are just only worth positive 50 points. You can't use them for any negative points, but for time invested, positive 50 points. Since I'm the active player, I technically get positive 100 points. So time invested, I still think it's worth the points. So that's kind of my strategy today. I was gonna run to the bookstore here to see if they have Tilly and the Lost Fairy Tales. None of my libraries have it, and the first book only took me like 3 hours to read. So if they have that, I'm gonna pick it up. Honestly, if they don't have that, I probably might still just like buy the ebook, because I do think that a book of that length is also a good option. I am so scared that I'm gonna lose teams again, and that this is gonna be my legacy, is that I cannot win a teams readathon. So I'm determined to not let that happen. We've got a plan set in place today, so I need to just go get started. My audiobook I'm currently listening to is The Last Widow by Karen Slaughter, the 9th book in the Will Trent series. I'm like maybe a quarter of the way through that. I did just go out on my little adventure this early afternoon. I left the house like right at noon, and I went to the bookstore and they didn't have what I needed. I was specifically looking for the second book in the Tilly and the Book Wanderers series. They had the first book but not the second, and then that happened in a couple other series I was specifically looking for. I still could not leave empty-handed, so I did buy the second book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I still haven't read the first, but I own the first. But those are fairly short, so I'm hoping in a week where first books in series are allowed that I can kind of at least get through now those first two that I own fairly quickly. But based on the work that Martine and I have done since our points update last night, we believe ourselves to now be in the lead. And so we've been making decisions on how we want to strategize going forward, because I was working through a lot of my short things to earn some quick points, and they were kind of finishing off things they were in the middle of to get us some quick points. And now we're like, okay, what do we want to do? And I think that we're both now trying to not be finishing anything and working towards the end of books again, and seeing if we feel we need to submit or see what is worth the most points towards the end of this week to hopefully win. We are thinking long game here in terms of like, if we don't need to finish everything this week, that sets us up better for next week. So we were just discussing, because I've had this whole ordeal figuring out what I need to read next. So it's kind of looking through my things and what could get me the most points, and also be the most beneficial for this week, but also like just fits a lot of things and prompts for me next week if I choose to hold off finishing it. And so actually I own this book, so let me go grab it 1 second. I am finally gonna read The Duke Most Wicked by Lenora Bell, and Danielle from Bookara bought this for me like probably a year ago now, probably for my birthday, which is in March. And every time I talk about this book, I talk about how excited I am to read it. So I am, once again, very excited to actually be starting this. Right now I'm gonna start it. The light here is killing me, but should I hold it way over here? This is not quite 400 pages, so it'll get me plus 50, which all of my points get doubled, so plus 100. And then it is also finishing a series, a sequel to a 5-star, owned, published in 2022. What else is this getting me? I need to look at the point sheet. Okay, also on my TBR for over a year, and yeah, so it's worth 5 negative points prompts, which get me 225 negative points, which doubled is negative 450. So this feels like a pretty powerful book, and the last book in the series I read in just under 4 hours. So this is the decision. That's how we came to this decision, and I need to just go get started. Everybody is sleeping, but I'm trying to stay up a little bit to get more reading done in this. It's Monday night, by the way, so that I can for sure finish this by tomorrow. I'm like not quite halfway. So I'm trying to stay awake tonight. It's only like 8 p.m. Our day ends at like 7 o'clock in this household. So me saying I'm trying to stay up late means I'm trying to make it till 9. I did not last night, so I'm still like not even close to how far I would like to be in this. But Betty does have her 6-month doctor appointment today, so I'm hoping I can snag some extra hours that I kind of forgot about while I'm there. It's hard because it depends on like how calm she is, if I can hold a physical book. Unfortunately, none of my libraries have an ebook of this. That would have helped me get through this much faster. I have to be hands-free, like I have to have my hands free and in the light to finish this. I definitely think I can get it done today, and then there's more options if we need to later. I do get a update on whether we are currently winning or losing at noon today, so we're like the noon announcement, so that'll let me know how hard I need to work, at least afternoon. This room is always really echoey, so hopefully it's okay. At least I figure we could use a change of scenery from my bed. But this week is over, and me and Martine were able to win again, so we're very happily welcoming Kayla and Gabby onto our team for next week. But I need to give a little recap on how the end of week 2 teams went. So Martine and I were both still working towards the end of books and not finishing them, because we knew we were getting an update at noon on Tuesday, which Tuesday was the last day of the week. We were getting an update on noon, just whether we were winning or losing. So we were kind of waiting to hear where we were sitting then, because we thought we were winning. I realized, because I've edited part of this video, that I didn't mention I read just the first 2 Heartstopper volumes, so I was able to submit volume 2. Volume 1 didn't count since it was a first book in a series, and I think I submitted 2 Magic Tree Houses as well. So those were kind of my short things. I was working through Duke Most Wicked and the audiobook of The Last Widow, but we did find out that we were winning at Kids Toys. I like leaned on a kid's toy. We did find out at noon that we were winning as we suspected, so we kind of were just like holding back. I talk to Kayla pretty frequently. She's one of my best friends, and I just, based on things that she was saying to me, was suspecting that... Are you serious? I was suspecting that she wasn't reading that much. So I was kind of just trying to keep an eye on what Gabby was saying in different chats to know if we needed to be like submitting more or if we thought we were safe. So Martine, I believe, entered a few more things just to like really call it safe, and we risked it and we did end up winning. So going into next week, I still am in the middle of Duke Most Wicked, The Last Widow, and I have lots of short things available to me, because I didn't end up finishing the Magic Tree Houses I need to read this month, and I didn't end up finishing the Heartstopper series. I do know that week 3 is tier, so we're replaying the tier round, which was the first ever Squash It series, and I suspect that it's going to be a very fast game. And the strategy I have, I don't think includes any of those books that I was already in the middle of. So stick around for next week's vlog to figure out how week 3, us replaying the tier version of Squash It series goes. I hope we're all still having a good time. I'm happy to have more people as my cheerleaders, and I'm gonna keep pushing through. I'm hoping that I can make it at least a couple more weeks. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.